Hey everyone, welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you're an automotive engineer and you're hunting for that next big career leap, you are absolutely going to want to pay close attention right now. We're breaking down a super urgent, highly specific set of vacancies over at ELENO Energy LLP. They are actively hiring experienced CAE, that's computer-aided engineering professionals, and these roles are based right in Pune, Maharashtra. Now, this isn't your standard remote-friendly apply-and-forget situation. This is an urgent, face-to-face, boots-on-the-ground opportunity. Let's look at exactly what's on the table.
7. That is literally the magic number today. ELENO Energy has exactly 7 highly specialized roles open right now. For an engineering firm, having 7 open spots across such critical domains, that means they're scaling up specific projects and they need targeted expertise, like yesterday. The stakes are clear. 7 seats are just waiting for the right folks to claim them.
Okay, let's dive into the breakdown. These 7 vacancies aren't just tossed into one giant generic pool. No way. They're distributed really precisely across 4 distinct automotive engineering domains. We've got 2 spots for CA MBD, 2 for CA safety seating, 2 for CA durability off-highway, and just 1 exclusive spot for CA NVH. So it's a really balanced push across durability, safety, and dynamics with a pinpoint need in noise and vibration.
Now, what about experience? Well, there's a very specific trend here. For the multi-body dynamics or MBD role, they're looking for 1 to 3 years of experience. But for safety seating, durability, and NVH, it's strictly 2 to 4 years. And what this does is create this perfect little window. They aren't looking for brand new trainees, right? But they also don't need a decade of senior management experience. They want early to mid-career engineers who already have their hands dirty in the software and are totally ready to hit the ground running.
I actually like to think of this explainer as a map of career crossroads. You've got 4 distinct paths based on your expertise. Crossroad number 1 brings us to the CAE MBD engineer position. If you're someone who is just absolutely passionate about how a vehicle moves and responds, this is your path. For this MBD role, your software gatekeepers are pretty clear. You absolutely must be proficient in Adam's car, HyperMesh, OptiStruct, and Abaqus. And what's really interesting here is how tightly that software aligns with the actual day-to-day focus. You'll be doing multi-body dynamic simulations, diving super deep into vehicle suspension and steering analysis. It's all about optimizing mechanical system performance and handling ride and handling simulations. So if Adam's car and Abaqus are your go-to tools, this is exactly where you belong. All right, let's transition over to our second path. Crossroad 2 is the CAE safety, specifically the seating engineer role. Now, this one speaks directly to those of you whose entire engineering mindset is built around occupant safety and survival. And here's the required toolkit for you safety experts. We're talking ANSA, HyperMesh, and really crucially, LS-DYNA. The focus here is life or death, honestly. Seat crash simulations, occupant safety analysis, and studying how seatbelts and airbags interact. You simply cannot fake this stuff. That strict need for LS-DYNA proficiency, that's because you're going to be tackling critical FMVSS and NCAP safety validations. You'll be prepping crash models and doing that vital post-processing to ensure a vehicle actually protects the people inside it. Next up, we arrive at Crossroad 3, the CAE Durability Off-Highway Engineer. This is where things get heavily structural. We are not just talking about your everyday commuter cars here. This path leans way into the rugged, demanding nature of heavy-duty off-highway equipment validation. To succeed on this path, your software stack needs to include HyperMesh, Abaqus, OptiStruct, and, specifically, nCode. That addition of nCode is the real key here. Your main focus is going to be structural durability analysis and fatigue life prediction. You'll be running load case analyses and optimizing designs for long-term reliability. Look, when you're dealing with massive off-highway equipment, accurately predicting fatigue life with nCode is pretty much everything. Finally, we reach Crossroad 4, the CAE NVH Engineer. And notice, there's only 1 vacancy here. This is a highly exclusive, single opening for a true expert in noise, vibration, and harshness. If this is your jam, the spotlight is entirely on you. For this singular role, the software requirement is ANSA, HyperMesh, and Nastran. And Nastran is absolutely the magic word here. Your day-to-day focus is going to be NVH simulations, modal analysis, frequency response analysis, and structural dynamics. The ultimate goal? Vehicle refinement and vibration reduction. You're the engineer responsible for making sure all those structural dynamics translate into a vehicle that actually feels and sounds right to the driver. And this brilliantly illustrates how your specific tech stack dictates your path.
Look at how off-highway durability requires HyperMesh, Abaqus, OptiStruct, and nCode. But then compare that to seating safety, which requires ANSA, HyperMesh, and LS-DYNA. Sure, HyperMesh might be a common thread between them, but that divergence between using nCode for fatigue versus LS-DYNA for crash simulations, it just shows exactly how specialized these ELENO Energy roles are. You really can't just be a generalist here. You've got to be a master of your specific domain's toolkit. All right, it's time to shift gears and talk about the strict, non-negotiable expectations. ELENO Energy has drawn some really firm, uncompromising boundaries for these roles. And this brings a level of urgency and exclusivity that you definitely need to be aware of before you even think about applying.
The mandate is absolute. Face-to-face interview only. No online or virtual interviews. I mean, in today's remote-first world, that is a massive statement. It's an absolute gatekeeping mandate. The company specifically notes that Pune-based candidates are strongly preferred because, frankly, they want you in the room. If you can't make it to a face-to-face interview in Pune, then these roles just aren't going to be a match.
Now, what about the structure of the employment itself? This is an initial contract to hire setup, so you'll join as a contract employee first. But notice that key point, there is a clear potential for permanent employment based on your performance and business requirements. Frame this positively, right? It's a challenge. It's a fantastic chance to step into the facility, prove those software skills, which again are strictly mandatory, and earn that permanent spot by showing exactly what you can deliver on the job. So you've seen the roles, you know the exact software stacks, and you understand the strict requirements. If you meet the criteria, this final phase of the explainer is all about execution. Let's make absolutely sure you know exactly how to execute your application without making a single formatting mistake. Here's your foolproof application checklist. Step 1. Double-check that your software skills perfectly match the role you're targeting. Seriously, don't apply for NVH if you don't know Nastran. Step 2. Format your email subject line exactly like this. Application-CAE followed by the position name in brackets. So for example, application-CAE NVH Engineer. If you don't follow this exact format, your resume is probably just going to get filtered out. And step 3, email your updated resume directly to HR@elenoenergy.com. We've laid out the map, the specific tools required, and the ultimate destination. There are 7 highly specialized face-to-face roles waiting in Pune right now. So the final thought I want to leave you with today is this. Which CAE path will you claim? Take a hard look at your software skills. See if you're ready for the test, and if you are, go get that resume formatted. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and best of luck to all the focused engineers applying today.